This story began in 2008 when my first baby girl was born. I was so happy and excited that I promised to give her all the best I could. When she was 7 years old, I visited Silicon Valley, California, and I took her with me. That was the first moment when I showed her Stanford University. She also had a chance to see Harvard. When we returned home, she said, "Dad, I promise you that I will study at one of the best US universities. You will be proud of me." Oh, damn it. That was my first thought. It seems like now it's time to save money for her education. It's time to understand better what is a 5 to 9 student saving account and everything related to this topic. So, in a brief, 429 plan is an education savings plan that lets families put money aside to help pay qualified educational expenses. And there are two types of 429 plans. Prepaid 429 plan. These plans allow families to prepay future college costs at today's rates. And 429 savings plan. These are the most popular 429 plans, allowing families to contribute money into a savings account and let the money grow through various investment options and portfolios. So savings plans are the more common type, and the account holder usually contributes money to the plan, which is typically invested in selection of different mutual funds. Account holders can choose the funds they want to invest in, and how those funds perform will determine how the account grows over time. And many 429 plans also offer target date funds, which adjust their holdings as the years go by, becoming more conservative as the beneficiary gets closer to the college age. Usually, withdrawals from 429 savings plan can be used for both college and K-12 expenses. In the case of 429 savings plan, qualified expenses include tuition, fees, room and board, and related costs. Prepaid tuition plans are offered by a limited number of states and some higher education institutions. They vary in their specifics, but the general principle is that they allow you to lock in tuition at current rates for a student who may not be attending college for years to come. As with 429 saving plans, prepaid tuition plans grow in a value over time, and the money that eventually comes out of the account to pay tuition is not taxable. Unlike savings plans, prepaid tuition plans don't cover room and board. Prepaid tuition plans may have other restrictions, such as which particular colleges they may be used for. The money in savings plan, by contrast, can be used at just about any eligible institution. 429 students saving account have very obvious benefits. First of all, tax benefits. Earnings on 429 are tax-free. Withdrawals for qualified education expenses are also tax-free. So some states offer tax deductions or tax credits for in-state 429 plans, and others even offer tax benefits for contributions to out-of-state plans. Second benefit, low maintenance. A 429 plan accounts can be opened online or through licensed financial advisor. Families who prefer to set it and forget it can select an automatic investment plan linked to a bank account or payroll deduction plan. The third benefit, high contribution limits. Unlike other savings plans such as Roth IRA or Coverdell Education Saving Account, 429 plans have no annual contribution limits and have high aggregate limits. Maximum aggregate limits vary by state and ranging usually from $235,000 to $529,000. One more important benefit, minimal effect on financial aid. A 429 plan will not hurt a student's eligibility for free application for federal student aid, FAFSA. It's viewed as an asset, not as an income, and only a small percentage of its earnings is considered when calculating student aid, so you can apply for financial aid. And last benefit, flexibility. 49 plans offer the same benefits for all families, regardless of their household income or the amount they contribute. So you can invest in almost any 49 plan, no matter where you live or where your child will attend college. For all the impact it can have on child's future, opening a 49 account is easy. It's even possible to open a 49 plan online. But before you will go somewhere to open 49 plan, that's very important to make a first step, to make a plan. How much money you want to invest every month, how many years you need to get the needed sum of money, all these steps should be planned in advance. When a family is ready to move forward, you should choose a beneficiary for the account. This is typically a child or grandchild, but essentially anyone can be named beneficiary of account if they have social security number or tax ID number. A good thing about most 49 accounts is that a new beneficiary can be named, including the account owner, if the original beneficiary no longer needs the funds. So for instance, in my case, if I have 3 kids, I can transfer 49 plan from one kid to another. The second step, you need to choose a plan or brokerage firm. When I start looking for a broker, I found out that neither Robinhood nor Webull doesn't have 49 account. The only one way that I found attractable and trustable was to choose a Vanguard or Fidelity. I should mention that each state has its own 49 plans options. And what is important, that it's not mandatory to have a 49 plan in your home state. Some states offer tax benefits if you have an in-state 49 plan, but each state offers different benefits, fees, and other considerations that make it worthwhile to research other potential options. Once 49 plan has been chosen, it's simply a matter of filling an application and opening an account. Next step is to build your portfolio. Because 49 savings plans use invest contributions into various assets and portfolios, usually the next stage is to allocate your assets in 49 plan. 49 accounts offer 3 different portfolio options based upon a level of risk tolerance, management style, and any other type of investments that you prefer. What I found that Fidelity and Vanguard have 3 options. Age-based portfolios. It's a kind of portfolios that are designed to align with the child's expected years of college enrollment. Simply saying you have 5, 10 or 15 years to come to the sum of money you need. Target risk portfolios. For instance, you can choose from 3 portfolios calibrated to match various levels of risk: conservative, moderate, or growth style. It's only up to you to choose what style to choose. And the last one, individual portfolios. Usually individual portfolios provide access to equity, fixed income, and capital preservation options. For many 49 plans, there is no minimum contribution requirement, so families can contribute an amount that fits them best. And no matter what the number is, it's important to set up consistent recurring contributions to help maximize the steady long-term growth of 49 plans that you choose. Basically, there are several ways to deposit money to your 49 account. For instance, you can send money to or from bank account with electronic funds transfer, EFT. You can wire money from a bank or third-party account. You can deposit a check via mobile upload or mail paper check to the bank. You can transfer money from one brokerage account to another. And lastly, you can transfer money via a third-party payment app like Venmo or PayPal. So you are depositing the money, grown your wealth, 10 years have passed, and the X day came. You need to withdraw money. 49 plan accounts owners can withdraw any amount money from their 49 plan, but only qualified distributions will be tax-free. It means that you can use all the money for college, graduate, or vocational school tuition and fees. Or you can use it for elementary or secondary school K-12 tuition and fees, for books and school supplies, for student loan payments, for off-campus housing, or for campus food and meal plans, for computers, internet and software, or maybe other type of equipment you need for education. And finally, for instance, for special needs and accessibility equipment for students. And let's imagine, in case you have such a problem, that you have leftover money in your 429 plan and you want to avoid paying taxes and penalty on your earnings, you have a few options. For instance, you can change the beneficiary to another qualifying family member, or you can hold the funds in the account in case the beneficiary wants to attend grad school later, or you can make yourself the beneficiary and further use your own money for education. As one more option, you should know that qualified distributions from 429 plan can repay up to $10,000 in student loans per borrower for both the beneficiary and the beneficiary's siblings. And you know, the future is always uncertain, and some parents worry about losing the funds they saved in a 429 plan if their child doesn't go to college or gets a scholarship. But there are some exceptions. The penalty is waived if the account beneficiary receives a tax-free scholarship, attends a US military academy, or dies or becomes disabled. And you know, details for 429 plans such as fees, investment choices, tax benefits varies from state to state. So you can check the list of the plans by state here in the description to the video. So now you heard a lot about benefits of 429 plan, but what are disadvantages? First of all, it's a penalty for non-qualified withdrawals. Non-qualified distributions are subject to income tax or about 10% penalty on the earnings portion of distribution. The next disadvantage is a state income tax recapture. What does it mean? If a 429 plan account owner does a rollover into another state's 429 plan, any state income tax deductions and credits previously claimed may be subject to recapture, and the earnings portion of the outbound rollover may be added back to state taxable income. One more disadvantage: limited investment choices. Usually, 429 plan account owner must select from a menu of investment options offered by 429 plan only. This typically includes pretty boring investment portfolios that aim to achieve a targeted level of risk, individual fund portfolios, and age-based portfolios that automatically shift asset allocation as the beneficiary gets closer to the college. One more disadvantage is the ownership rules. A 429 plan account owner, not the beneficiary, has legal control of the money in the account. So the account owner can easily change the beneficiary at any time, or worse, they can take a non-qualified distribution and liquidate the plan. A Roth IRA is an individual retirement account, but it can also be used to save for college. Those contributions can grow tax-free, and you can take withdrawals up to the amount you have contributed without any taxes or penalties. One more option is Education Savings Account (ESA) or Education IRA. So this type of accounts, ESA, works a lot like Roth IRA, except that it's for education expenses. It allows you to invest up to $2,000 per year per child. Plus, it grows tax-free. And ESA isn't just for college tuition. And finally, while doing my research, I found two other types of accounts: UTMA or UGMA, Uniform Transfer or Gift to Minors Act accounts. So if you have already done an ESA, or for instance, if you don't qualify for ESA, then and only then you should take a look into UTMA or UGMA plan. Thank you for watching, and I wish all your kids only the best in their lives.